Three specific things must be said about the Philadelphia 76ers. A couple you may not agree with, but somebody has to throw it out there. We'll break all of it down and more here on Philly Take with RB.
Perfect.
What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into the show. You know the drill by now. Hit the like button if you enjoy this content. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss any of the videos. Today we're back, and I was at the game last night watching the Sixers absolutely demolish the Washington Wizards by what felt like about 5 million, okay? Fourth quarter, the Sixers were almost up 50. They end up winning this game by 45. Another masterclass from Joel Embiid. Good to see him out there moving around. He was questionable, but the knee is okay. So I'm glad he is good to go. He said after the game, I'm good. And yeah, the Sixers get another good win on what is an easy stretch. But the real question here is, ladies and gentlemen, drop a comment down below right now. Question of the day: have the Sixers overperformed, been right in line with expectation, or underperformed according to your expectations this far into the season? They're 15-7. They're the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, really just a game or two behind the number 1 seed. Have the Sixers played above your expectations? Give me your thoughts down below. And before we jump into my 3 things that must be said about the Sixers, let me give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. Shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Southern New Hampshire University. You know, funny enough, years ago, I enrolled in college trying to figure out how to obtain a degree in sports. But as a first-generation college student, I had little to no experience, really no guidance at all. And an SNHU would have been a perfect opportunity for someone like me. And maybe it can benefit you, as their online sports management program lets you turn a passion for sports into a degree. You'll learn about the business and economics of sports, sports management principles, and how to gather and analyze data. This degree can help you prepare for many careers like an athletic director, sports information director, marketing manager, and other exciting roles in the sports industry. You'll even be able to tap into SNHU's network of grads, help establish those connections with individuals working in sports-related organizations, and you'll be able to take advantage of an internship or experiential learning course within the field as well. SNHU has one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offerings in the country. They are radically affordable, and their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. So do yourself a favor, go down to the description, click the link, go to snhu.edu/PhillyTake to see what the current average annual salary is for any of their programs, and request free info about the program. A real person will even schedule to hop on a call with you and discuss how the program can benefit you personally. Once again, check it out, snhu.edu/PhillyTake. All right, man. So as it relates to the Sixers, okay, let's jump right into it. Number 1, the Sixers need to find some type of replacement for Tobias Harris's contract. Here's what I mean by that. Tobias is a good guy. He's a good player, right? He'll bring value to this team. He can bring value, but in terms of the money he is making this year, almost near $40 million, the Sixers could have so much more value, so much more bang for their buck in terms of what they are getting from Tobias Harris, right? The Sixers are out there last night. Everybody's feasting. Everybody's moving around. And I'm not just using last night's game as a one sample judgment size, okay? I'm just seeing it overall, right? Like, Tobias has these good stretches throughout the year, but he always ends up reverting back into that shell where it's like, you know, he just goes for 9 points or, 12 points and 5 rebounds or whatever it is. He just is not going to be the guy as the third option that can help this team get over the hump and get to where they want to go. It sucks saying it because he's been here for so long and he's been such a good locker room guy, but he is on the final year of the contract, and the reality is the reality. I believe in Joel. I believe in Maxey. I believe in Tobias as maybe a 4th or 5th option, but he cannot be that guy. And right now, the worst statistic when you look at it is the fact that he's shooting under 32% from 3. He's only averaging 17 or under 17 points a game now, but he's only shooting 32.1 or 31.8% from 3. And you can see where that ranks among the guys on his team. Right now, Nick Batum's actually leading the league, 51.2. Tobias is all the way down here at 31.8. That just cannot happen, for a team that wants to go out there and succeed, especially when you're supposed to have such a big role in this team. When you go around and scan the league, sure, a lot of people may not be interested in his services, but let me tell you something. With the new CBA, with the way the contracts are shaped now, looking towards the deadline, there will be a lot of these like younger teams that are looking to shed salary to hopefully open up some max slots that are going to take a flyer on Tobias Harris, maybe even another midway team. But I could see one of these younger teams just trying to take on that contract just to let it, expire. Or maybe even, if you look at a Chicago Bulls, for instance, right? Say the Sixers ended up trying to get more into this Zach LaVine deal. Maybe the Bulls want to shed the next 3 to 4 years of Zach LaVine in exchange for letting Tobias ride out this year and then getting that cap space. So I do think that will be a valuable asset, and I do think it'll probably be in the Sixers' best interest to trade him at the deadline if they can find some of these ancillary pieces that can replace that contract slide. And we talked about this for a while, but just seeing more of a sample size, and I really thought he had figured it out to begin this year, but he's Tobias Harris, and it just is what it is, and we've seen it every single year. Number 2, Joel Embiid, despite what you think about him, despite whether you like him or not, his personality, his shortcomings in certain playoff series, his entire history here with the process, is a world-class talent. He is one of the greatest players, not only in the league, but in the world. Okay, I'm out there watching him last night. It's a little crossover, little step back against Mike Muscala, and you just start to think about the fact that this guy's 7'2" and almost 290 and can do things like this. I mean, it's unbelievable. Shout out to my guy Josh Reynolds for putting it on Twitter here. I mean, you're just watching these things, whether it's in person or on the TV or just in highlight films, and he just doesn't fail to shock you every single night. He never fails to shock you. In fact, here's what JJ Redick said, and I agree 100% wholeheartedly with JJ here. He says, quote, "My sincere hope is that he's healthy, number one, because he's had a bunch of playoff injuries. He dominates, the Sixers make a run, and we can all stop the effing noise around Joel Embiid and his playoff performance because it's annoying." And I agree, man. He's been through a lot here with the Sixers, and right now he's averaging more points, assists, rebounds, everything than he did last year in his MVP year. Joel Embiid is all world, ladies and gentlemen. And I always say this almost on every single stream. Don't take it for granted. The Sixers could be the Washington Wizards that I saw yesterday, the team that couldn't even put the damn ball in the hoop. They had like 60 points after 3 quarters. They could be the 20 straight loss Pistons. They could be the Spurs. Do you want to go back to that? Do you want to go back to 2015 when the tickets were $5 and see a team that can't even field a 4-quarter game? Team that can't even go out there and put up more than 80 points in a game? Do you want to go back to that? Be thankful for what you have. I know that there's a lot of frustration built up, that this team should have made it farther than they have in prior years, that they need to get past that second round, but that doesn't take away the fact that Joel Embiid is such a special player. He's doing it yet again, over 33 points per game. He's just a special talent, and he seems very bought into this Nick Nurse system, and he's going to be a huge key, obviously, but he is one of the most dominant players you will ever see walk through this organization. So don't take it away from him and hope that he can stay healthy. That's the number one thing. If he can stay healthy, I really think he can lead this team on that big time run. And the last thing I'll say leading into key number 3 is that I don't think this Sixers team is far off. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this one, and that's perfectly fine. But having talked to Nurse, seeing some of the inside things and some of the players this team has now, if they go out, right? Maybe they make a play for one big-time player that can score, or maybe they go out and just add a couple additional pieces. But seeing the structure of the team and the system, that is what has me bought in right now. We're in the dry part of the season, okay? Nobody cares about a December game against the Wizards or the Pistons or whatever, but we saw this team battle with Milwaukee in the first game of the year. We saw them beat Boston in their first matchup of the year. Of course, it would be a tough series. It would be very hard in the playoffs, right? It would probably go 6-7 games. But this team can absolutely fight. And Nick Nurse, in my opinion, is coaching a superstar for the first time since his first year in the league when he won a championship. And if Tyrese Maxey can take this leap, continue to move in the direction he is, and the Sixers can get 1 or 2 more pieces, I really think this is the year they can get over the top. I don't see any crazy juggernaut from what my eyes have seen so far this year. I think there are a lot of good teams. I don't know if there's any great in the East, And the Sixers can be one of many fighting for that spot. And, you know, you look at guys like Kelly Oubre, who are averaging almost 15 points per game. You look at a guy like Nico Batum, who's leading the league in three-point percentage, right? And you go out, if you can add a couple more pieces, you now have draft assets to go get some of these guys. You know, maybe you get a 2 and you move Melton to the bench, have that Melton Oubre punch off the bench. I don't think they're far off. I'm not saying they're a finished product, and I'm not even saying they can go win the whole thing, but they are not far off, and they're not so far away from getting past the point that they've been trying to for the last 20 seasons, okay? Like, they're right here, and I really think that system, that two-man game of Tyrese and Joel, along with spot-up shooters that can defend and just know how to play their role, is what this team has always been vouching for, and now they have it. They have it, but they have to stay healthy. They got to keep moving in this direction they are, beating down on bad teams, right? They're going to do a lot of that this month, but even in the games where they're not playing bad teams, like, every game this year has at least been competitive, right? They fight every game. Even if they lose, right? They go down fighting. Some things do still have to go right. I wouldn't be surprised, though. I would not be surprised at all. So those are my 3 takeaways so far on the Sixers. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Give me your takeaways on the team down below so far in terms of what you've seen. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.